Today, I thought I'd do something a little different because I want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, but I specifically want to talk about this. If you're not familiar, this is the Radical Edition that was sold by Limited Run Games. Now, first of all, if you haven't played Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge at this point, I would suggest after this video, you go find it, you play it. If you enjoy the original arcade beat-em-up style TMNT games, it's really, really well done. Very fun game. They just did some updates to it, which made it even better. Downloadable content is excellent. So this video here isn't about the game itself. I want to talk about this physical edition that was released by Limited Run Games. Now, as far as like video game special editions go, I'm not one that usually buys into that sort of thing. But Ninja Turtles being one of my favorite things that I collect for, this one was appealing to me because not only does the Radical Edition come with a ton of like pack-in little tchotchkes, but it comes with an exclusive action figure. And when you say exclusive action figure, that's the thing that always hooks me for some of my favorite properties. So we're going to open this up. We're going to look at all the cool stuff that it comes with a special focus on the action figure. But this thing was expensive. You know, I do like to get physical copies of my favorite video games. I know there's a lot of digital games out there, but if I can get a physical copy, that's what I prefer. I like holding a physical copy of a video game in my hand and having it. So I knew that I wanted to get the physical release of this. Even though I downloaded the digital version the weekend it came out, I ordered this in July of 2022. And it was finally delivered at the very end of August 2023. So over a year to finally get my physical copy of this game. I am glad that I didn't wait. And at this point, oof, like the only reason you should have bought into that is if you wanted the exclusive swag to go with this. I hope nobody bought this waiting to play the game until the physical copy came. That is outrageous. I'm assuming it had something to do with the manufacturing of a lot of this stuff, like the exclusive figure. I mean, we all know how that sort of thing goes as toy collectors, but oof, yes. Also, it's very expensive. This was $199.99 after taxes and shipping. I paid about $250. So was it worth paying $250 just because it has an exclusive action figure? No, not at all. Not at all, but I did it. So let's go ahead and open this up and we can look at everything that comes with it. And at this point, you would have to buy it on the secondary market anyway, but I'll show you everything that's in here and then you can decide if it's something that you want to try to track down any of the contents from this particular thing. So the Radical Edition does come in this very nice box here. It's got a slip cover on there and you can see it's got some beautiful artwork for the Shredder's Revenge game on the front. And as we rotate it around to the backside, it gives you a glimpse at all the stuff that's packed in here. So I made the joke about this not being worth $250 just for the figure. And I said that because that's the thing that made me pull the trigger. It's worth noting you're getting a ton of stuff in here. So it's $250 shipped, but that gives you a physical copy of the game and then all this other stuff. So again, value is always in the eye of the beholder. It's always up to the individual person if something is worth it or not. Looking at the figure here, I love how they like call out right hand grips weapon and real fiber cape. I don't think I've ever heard fiber cape as a call out on an action figure. That's really interesting. So this is a slip cover that you can remove, and you can see that when we remove the slipcover, it does have just the same image on the back with the cross cell, but the artwork on the front is completely different, and it's really awesome. So, if anything, this is a nice box that will make for a nice display piece. Look at that, like there's knuckleheads back here. A lot of good toy references within that artwork there. Awesome stuff. Very radical, indeed. But let's go ahead and open this up because there are just an absolutely ton of things crammed in this box. So I'm going to show you everything that's in here. Okay, so first of all, we do have the physical copy of the game, which is the most important part of this entire box set. That's why they do this, is to print physical copies of these games that are typically digital only. What I wasn't expecting was that they were going to blister card it. Look at this. So they definitely went all in on this action figure feel. They blister carded the actual physical game. You can see it's in a standard Switch case. I got the Switch edition, but it's on a blister card, which is really fun. It has the hang tab up here, and then they just used artwork from the game on there. But look at that. The back even has a cross cell, which is just showing the different characters as they appear in the game, but definitely is taking cues from the old Playmates toys. I like that they're doing this blister card thing, and honestly, since I'm playing the digital version, I'll probably just keep it like this. This is pretty cool. But in addition to this, if you were going to open this up, they did also include a steelbook, which is really nice. I mean, this is fantastic. I know there are a lot of fans of the steelbooks out there, so you can open that up. You got some more artwork on the inside. You got the space to clip in the Switch game. It's pretty cool. Nice little steelbook there. And then this is pretty cool as another added bonus. It's another case or a box for the game. It's supposed to look like a box for the game at the store, but it's in the style of a VHS tape with a slip cover. You know what? Let me go ahead and put this together really quick. I want to see what it looks like. Okay, this is actually pretty cool. So again, this is supposed to be like a extra box. So I guess if you wanted, I wonder, does the steelbook fit in here? Oh, it does. So like if you wanted to take the game off the blister card, or, you know, just to display it in your house, but like, look at that. So the Switch game would fit inside of this box, which looks like a VHS tape. That is super fun. And then it has a classic VHS style slip cover. Look at this. This is awesome. Let me see if we can get this. Gotta make sure I don't ding this up here. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, so this is actually pretty cool. Wow, and with the steelbook in there, it actually feels like an actual VHS tape. So, I mean, definitely gotta hand it to them. They did some really cool stuff with the overall packaging here for this physical release that definitely makes it feel like a collector's item. Really good stuff. Look, limited run games actually doing the FHE logo at the top. That's pretty fun. I love it. Good stuff there on the actual physical copy of the game. But wait, there's more. There's actually quite a bit of stuff crammed in this box. Of course, if you buy limited run games, you know that they always include a trading card with each one of their releases there. So this is what the trading card looks like for Shredder's Revenge. Has a great image of Michelangelo on there. It also comes with a fold-out poster of that really amazing artwork from the box that we saw, which is awesome, especially if you're a poster fan. And then the opposite side has got the actual like poster for the game itself, which is just like the standard cover for the game. But this is great. I mean, really cool stuff if you're a poster fan. But now we're getting into some of my favorite stuff in the box, because it actually comes with a physical CD soundtrack for the game, which is really cool. I mean, I don't get a lot of CDs these days anymore, but this is just another one of those like printing something in physical form, which is pretty awesome. So if you are somebody who still likes to have physical music as well, this comes with a soundtrack on CD for the game, which is awesome. These are always pretty cool. This is like a framed like 3D picture of a scene from the game. That's pretty cool. I like that. And here's another physical item that I actually really appreciate. They included a hardcover strategy guide for the game, which is so cool. I mean, obviously, as somebody who's been playing video games since I was a kid in the 80s, strategy guides were something that I always loved. And, you know, obviously strategy guides were there to give you helpful hints and stuff, but also as a collector, I always loved collecting strategy guides for my favorite games. And this one's hardback. So this is actually a really, really nice inclusion as well. Okay, but now we're getting into the fun toy stuff here, because we also get this really cool miniature arcade machine of Shredder's Revenge. Let's open this up. So pretty cool stuff. It's just a tiny little arcade machine for Shredder's Revenge. You can see it stands 5.5 inches tall, which actually means it's pretty perfect for your vintage Ninja Turtles action figures. Maybe just a tad too tall for them. Actually, I kind of wonder, would it work better? It might actually work better for like 5 or 6 inch action figures. Yeah, look at that. Scarlet Spider. See, Scarlet Spider even stands almost a little too tall for it. So, yeah, it's like right in the middle there, but that's still a pretty fun thing. What's even cooler is that it does have a little screen that lights up, but unfortunately for that to work, it needs to be plugged in. It's not something that just gets a charge that I can tell. It looks like you actually need to leave it plugged in. So it does come with a little USB plug. Goodness, I am a mess here. I'm just knocking everything over. So I got my little battery, portable battery here. So let me go ahead and put that there. And look at that. So you flip the switch on the back. You get lights up here at the top. Oh. Wow. So it's got full video on there, which you can see looks pretty great. It's playing music. I think it's essentially... it's playing the trailer for the game. So these buttons... okay, so this button over here will mute it. So if you don't want the actual music blasting, you can press this button to mute it. This button right here seems to be fake, and the controller sticks don't do anything. So that seems to be all that it is, but it is still pretty cool. I mean, that's a fun little pack-in, and definitely makes for a neat little thing to display your figures on your shelf, right? That's pretty awesome. Okay, so now it's on to the main event, at least for me, at least for my viewers, most likely. This is the exclusive Shredder action figure that comes with the Radical Edition from Limited Run Games. Now, there was definitely some curiosity around this when it was announced, because one of the things they were touting was that they were doing like a first ever retro figure of Shredder in his actual cartoon colors, the way he appeared. Because obviously, if you are a Turtles collector, you know that the figure we got in the original line, he wasn't wearing a shirt, his helmet was purple, didn't quite match what we saw on screen. Or the helmet was blue. Yes, blue. Blue helmet, purple cape. But it's not necessarily true that we didn't get a cartoon-based one, because there was the Toon Turtles line, which gave us a Shredder, which much more represented what was on the cartoon. So a lot of fans read that and thought, what does that mean? Does that mean they're just reissuing Toon Turtle Shredder? And that is really not the case here. And we're actually going to bring in Toon Turtle Shredder to compare. But I also want to talk about the packaging here. So he is blister carded, but unfortunately they utilized that older card back that they were using for the reissues a few years ago, which is a very generic look with, like, you know, kind of has the brick wall motif of the vintage toys, but then just has these pictures of the four turtles up here, the big Nickelodeon logo. The only reason I'm pointing that out is because in the last year or two, the reissues we've been getting from Playmates and stores actually is recreating the vintage card backs, which have the unique images of the character in the package on there. And most Turtle fans prefer this look right here. It's just a much nicer looking card back than this kind of like modern redo of it. So I think a lot of people were disappointed that Shredder was on this card back, because it's been a few years since we've seen this one. No, and if they were doing the Toon Turtles version, that had a very different card back in the original line, so that would have been interesting. So I don't know, it's probably was just easier for them to do this rather than create all new artwork for this version of Shredder. So the back of it there does also have that exact same card back we've seen on a lot of the reissues from previous years, where it retells the story up here, has this particular cross-sell. See, there you go. There's what Shredder looked like in the original line. Original 88 figures, you know, kinda. Kinda. One thing that's worth noting is it does look like this Shredder also has the wider stance that all of the reissues of Shredders have had for the last few years, rather than the legs that were hard to stand up from the actual vintage figure. So now I'm going to bring in the actual Toon Turtle Shredder. This is the one from 1993, just to show you in the package there, like, that these are different figures. For example, the one from 1993 has got a metallic paint deco on the helmet and the spikes on him. Also, the eyes are painted so much better on the one from 1993. We just have these black dots, and it's got the error where they painted the face and the eyebrows up on the helmet, where you can see in 1993 they actually fixed that. So the helmet is painted correctly on the 1993 1993 version, but this new one does that thing that they did on the original 88 Shredder where they goofed up and they put the eyebrows and part of the skin paint job up on the actual helmet there. You can see that. So it's definitely weird. And look, if you didn't notice that before, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I'm very sorry for ruining that for you. But he does come with some unique silver molded versions of these weapons, which we haven't had that before, so that's new. And you see he's got the purple cape in there. So, I mean, it's a cool looking Shredder. It's a lot more of a flat tone silver as opposed to the shiny one of the Toon Turtles. But this definitely does point out that it is not a reissue of Toon Turtle Shredder. It's sort of like its own new thing. It's like a new recreation of vintage Shredder, but with a more cartoon accurate paint deco. So it is still pretty cool, and it's unique because this is the only place that you can get this particular Shredder. So seems like a lot of money and a lot of fuss just to get this right here. I mean, like, that's what I did. I bought this for this. And obviously I wanted to have a physical copy of the game as well, but I probably would have just bought the physical copy if they didn't say something about there being an exclusive action figure. Well, did I mess up? Maybe. I bet a lot of you think that this was a waste of money. I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, I love the idea of an exclusive figure. I'm curious. People are probably selling these by themselves. If this goes on to be like a super rare, expensive figure, I don't know. To be honest, I mean, you guys know me if you watch this channel. I don't necessarily collect for value anyway, but I am a sucker for exclusive toys like this, especially when it's like a retro type release. I'm definitely not sounding very positive, am I? But there it is. There is a look at the Radical Edition from Limited Run Games. Honestly, like, I've bought a lot of physical copies from Limited Run, so I do love the idea of being able to get physical copies of video games for lots of these games that are typically digital only. You know, it's really up to the buyer if you think it's worth it to go all in on something crazy that gives you exclusive things like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope at least maybe you saw some stuff you were curious about or I answered some questions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time.